He's internationally recognized for being the most lovable employee of Las Vegas Golden and Silver Pawn Shop. It's been nearly 17 years since we started filming Pawn Stars, and this is long awaited, long overdue. Okay, I mean, Magic is one of those games where some of the cards are very expensive and you need them to play your deck, but you also want them for your collection. In March 2016, police raided Chumlee's house looking for evidence of sexual assault. They didn't find any, but they found something else. A secret vault he didn't want to open. A room with a dance pull. He faced 70 years in prison. Everyone thought his career was over. But that raid was just the beginning. What happened next shocked his fans, his co-stars, and even the judge. The funny guy from Pawn Stars had secrets darker than anyone imagined. I worked at the Quiznos 8 hours a day. And then I worked at the pawn shop 4 hours a day. I actually worked 135 days straight without a day off. Austin Lee Russell was born on September 8, 1982 in Henderson, Nevada. His family had 6 members, and they worked hard just to get by. His parents weren't rich. His father was a DJ, and his mother worked at a casino. That meant Chumlee grew up seeing the lights, the noise, and the fast life of Las Vegas. But at home, life was simple. Money was tight, and everyone had to pitch in. That mix of glitz outside and modesty at home shaped him. He learned early that you have to work hard and stay grounded no matter what's going on around you. By the time he was 12, he had a nickname that would stick for life. A friend's dad took one look at him and said he looked just like Chumlee, the walrus, from that old cartoon Tennessee tuxedo. The name Chumlee caught on. What started as a joke turned into the name everyone would know him by. That silly moment ended up helping him stand out later, making him easy to remember when he showed up on TV screens across America. Chumlee wasn't alone growing up. He had 3 siblings, and one of his closest friends was Corey Harrison. The two of them were just regular kids hanging out in Henderson, but Corey's family owned the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. That friendship changed Chumlee's life. As they got older, Chumlee spent more time at the pawn shop, and eventually became part of the business. As much as I would love to do the Chumlee show, we film 80 episodes a year, and it's just ridiculously crazy. So, when the shop became the focus of Pawn Stars, that bond with Corey turned into something much bigger. Their back and forth on the show helped make it a hit. Their friendship wasn't just personal. It became part of what people loved about watching. School wasn't easy for Chumlee. He dropped out of high school. That made him one of only 2 in his family who didn't graduate. The other was his brother, Sage. It could have been the end of the road for his dreams. But Chumlee didn't let that stop him. He found another way to succeed. He used his charm, his street smarts, and his people skills to build a career most graduates could only dream of. Chumlee's real name is Austin Lee Russell. In 2003, at just 21 years old, he stepped into the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas. Most would expect him to jump into a glamorous role, especially since he was childhood friends with Corey Harrison, whose family owned the shop. But that's not what happened. Chumlee started as a janitor and item tester. He swept floors, cleaned cases, and took on the jobs no one else wanted. Even with his connection to the owners, he had to earn his place the hard way. This was no shortcut. Day by day, he learned how the business worked and how to spot real treasures from junk. Those early lessons would prove to be priceless. For 5 years from 2003 to 2008, Chumlee worked quietly behind the scenes. The shop was just another local pawn shop. Back then, nothing like the tourist hot spot it would later become. Chumlee handled everything. Testing electronics, checking collectibles, keeping track of inventory, rare coins, vintage guitars, strange gadgets. He saw it all. When producers came looking in 2008 for a shop to build a show around, Chumlee wasn't on their radar at first. But it didn't take long for his unique charm and deep knowledge of pop culture to stand out. When Pawn Stars began filming in July 2009, Chumlee was ready. He wasn't just part of the team. He was a key player. When the show finally hit the air, Chumlee was supposed to be the funny one, the guy everyone teased. He was cast as the comic relief, the village idiot of the shop. But viewers didn't see him that way. They loved his laid-back style and offbeat humor. He wasn't trying to be a star, and that's exactly why people connected with him. By 2012, Chumlee's popularity had exploded. He was getting up to 60,000 fan letters a month. His face was on shirts, mugs, and posters outselling. Even Rick Harrison's merchandise. Fans lined up to meet him at conventions. I'm making this deal because I'm going to show Rick how to buy something with something in the shop and then turn around and make a profit bigger than the profit I could have made if I paid cash. He had gone from sidekick to star. What surprised many was how much Chumlee actually knew. Behind that easygoing image was a real expert. He could spot rare pinball machines and tell you what they were worth. He knew which sports memorabilia was fake and which was gold. His sneaker collection had over 200 pairs with some worth thousands. He loved toys and retro video games. And he could tell you the story behind rare consoles and cartridges from the 80s and 90s. When it came to pop culture items, Chumlee was the guy everyone at the shop turned to. But just as his life was changing, tragedy struck. The show premiered in July 2009, only weeks after Chumlee's father died of pancreatic cancer at just 54. Instead of celebrating his big break, Chumlee was grieving. He's spoken about how that loss drove him to work harder and make his father proud. Fans who learned about his loss offered their support, and that made his rise to fame feel even more emotional. Chumlee credits his dad for teaching him to work hard and to love collecting. Every deal he makes, every item he values is a small tribute to his father. Chumlee's rise is the kind of story that surprises everyone. When Pawn Stars first aired in July 2009, most people saw him as just the funny sidekick. But it didn't take long for fans to fall in love with his easygoing humor and underdog charm. Chumlee knew he had something special, and he moved fast to make the most of it. By 2010, he had started his own company to sell novelty items. There were t-shirts, bobbleheads, autograph photos, anything with his face or catchphrases. In just 1 year, his merchandise was outselling those of his co-stars, even the ones who founded the shop. Fans couldn't get enough of him, and it showed. But Chumlee was smart. The demand for his stuff grew so fast that it became hard to keep up. That same year, he made a bold move. He sold half of his company to Rick Harrison for $155,000. It wasn't just about the money. He needed help handling all the orders. By teaming up with Rick, he was able to use the shop system to sell his goods, both online and in the store.